I want you to picture a scenario. You're in, I don't know, a heated argument. Maybe it's with a partner, maybe a colleague, and they are just letting loose. Voices raised, faces getting red, and they're, maybe tossing out a few insults to see what sticks.
Oh, we've all been there. It's a high-pressure moment.
It is. But here's the twist in this scenario. You, instead of snapping back, instead of matching their energy, you just stop.
Okay.
You don't get angry. You don't yell. You don't even rush to defend yourself. You just listen. You hold your ground, totally calm.
Yeah.
Now, on paper, that sounds like the peak of maturity, right?
Logically, yes. It sounds like the ideal way to de-escalate.
But is it? Because in real life, the other person doesn't usually say, wow, thank you for being so composed.
Not in my experience, no.
They look at you with this mix of confusion and almost horror and say, why are you being so cold? Or you're acting like a robot, or the big one. Stop being so stoic.
It's a fascinating reaction, isn't it? You're doing the quote-unquote right thing, but you end up being treated like the villain.
That's exactly what I want to unpack today, because we have a whole stack of articles and psychological profiles here that all point to this massive misunderstanding.
A misunderstanding between the exterior of Stoicism, what it looks like, and the interior reality.
Exactly. The cold, disciplined outside versus what's actually happening on the inside.
And that gap is where all the trouble starts. So today we're diving into why modern society so often mistakes this calmness for extremism. Why does not reacting make you look like an outcast?
And maybe most importantly, is there a way to actually practice this without turning into an emotional ice block that nobody wants to be around?
A very important question.
Because that label extreme, it just feels so heavy. If I'm the one not screaming, how am I the one being extreme? It feels totally backward.
Yeah.
So let's start at the surface. Why does silence trigger that kind of response?
Well, it really comes down to how we're wired to judge behavior. We are visual, social creatures. And if you look at the source material, our culture today, it pretty much equates high emotion with honesty.
Right, with being authentic.
Exactly. Think about it. If you're loud, people say you're passionate. If you're crying, you're being vulnerable. If you're just venting, you're keeping it real.
Yeah, wearing your heart on your sleeve is held up as like the gold standard of being a good person.
It is. So flip that. If you strip away the shouting and the tears and the venting, what's left?
The silence.
To the outside observer, that silence looks like emptiness. It looks like coldness. But there's something much more primal going on here, and it's the fear of rejection.
Rejection. That seems like a bit of a leap. I'm not rejecting them, I'm just not fighting with them.
But look at the mechanics of a fight. When two people are in an emotional exchange, even a shouting match, there's a shared rhythm.
A dance.
It is a dance. It's a communal release of energy. I yell, you yell back. We're in it together. Now, if I'm venting and you just refuse to participate in that rhythm, if you don't get angry with me, or at least angry at me, it triggers this little alarm bell deep in my brain. Subconsciously, I'm asking, wait, are they on my side? Do they even care enough to get upset?
So by staying calm, I'm kind of opting out of the tribe's ritual.
You're breaking the social contract. And when you don't validate their emotion by matching it, you create this distance. And that distance is terrifying to people. But there's another layer to this that I think is even more important. The sources call it the mirror effect.
I saw that in the notes. Break that down for me.
So the mirror effect is this idea that a Stoic's lack of reaction becomes a literal mirror for the person who's losing control.
Okay.
Think of it this way. If I'm losing my mind, screaming, acting totally irrational, and you're doing the exact same thing back to me, I feel fine. I feel justified.
Because we're both in the mud together.
We're both in the mud. I don't have to reflect on my own bad behavior because you're validating it with yours. But if I'm losing it and you're just sitting there perfectly composed...
Oh, I see where this is going.
Suddenly, I am all alone in the room with my own ugliness. Your silence forces me to look at myself. I have to sit with my own anger, and I don't have the distraction of your reaction.
That sounds incredibly uncomfortable for the other person.
It's unbearable for many people.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate for a second. Isn't that silence kind of aggressive? If I'm really upset, even if I'm wrong, and you're just sitting there like a statue, isn't that the form of stonewalling? It can feel really dismissive.
That is exactly how it feels on the other side, and that's why the reaction is so hostile. To soothe that discomfort, that feeling of being judged by your silence, I have to make you the problem.
Right.
I can't say, wow, I have no self-control, that hurts my ego too much. So instead, I point at you and I say, you're defective, you're unfeeling, you are extreme.
So that label, extreme, It isn't actually a description of my behavior.
Not at all.
It's a defense mechanism for them.
Precisely. It shifts the focus away from their chaos and onto your unnatural calm.
Okay, that explains the one-on-one friction.
Mm-hmm.
But this gets at something else the sources mention, which is how Stoicism is. Well, how it's packaged, how it's sold to us.
Marketing, yeah.
Because when I think of Stoicism, I don't immediately think healthy emotional regulation. I think of, tech bros taking ice baths and staring grimly into the distance.
But the marketing has definitely skewed public perception. It's so often sold as this feat of endurance. You see phrases like steel discipline, biting the bullet, suppressing the pain.
It's all about becoming a tank.
It is, and honestly, who wants to live like that? It sounds exhausting and really lonely.
Right.
Very few people. And the ones who try usually burn out. But the sources are clear that this marketing misses the entire point. Real Stoicism isn't about killing your emotions. It's not about feeling nothing.
So what is it about?
It's about delaying the reaction so that your behavior isn't hijacked by that initial feeling.
But that's such a hard distinction to see from the outside.
Yeah.
If I delay my reaction, to you, it just looks like I don't have one.
And that is the absolute crux of the misunderstanding. The internal world of a Stoic is incredibly active. It's a constant self-dialogue. You feel that flash of anger, you acknowledge it, you weigh your options, and you choose not to act on it. It's a high-bandwidth process inside.
But the outside world sees zero output.
Zero output. And because they don't see the struggle, they just assume there's no feeling.
Which brings us to this idea the sources talk about, which I found fascinating. Emotional currency.
Yes. It's a brilliant framework for understanding this. Modern society basically uses emotions as a form of trade.
Like actual currency.
Exactly like currency. Think about how we bond. I'll trade you my sadness for your comfort. Or I'll share my outrage so you can give me validation. We trade feelings to confirm we're in the same group.
That is so true. You see it on social media all the time. If there's a tragedy, you have to post about how upset you are. It's like paying your social dues.
It's emotional inflation. You have to perform more and more emotion just to register as a caring person. So now you put the Stoic into this emotional economy. They refuse to use emotions as currency. They don't perform sadness just to get a pat on the back. They don't gin up anger just to fit in with the group's outrage.
So to everyone else, they look like they're hoarding their money.
Yeah.
Or maybe like they're just broke.
It looks like they're opting out of the community. In a society that really values flexibility, which, let's be honest, often just means having loose boundaries and oversharing Stoic discipline, looks rigid and strange.
But isn't there a real risk there? I mean, if I stop trading in emotional currency, am I going to lose my friends? Bonding over complaints is like 90% of office culture.
You might lose the friends who only want to bond over negativity, yes, that's a real risk. But the sources argue that Stoics just view balance differently. Society thinks balance is, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A little discipline, a little letting go.
Right, a little messiness. Stoics believe in rigorous restraint in one area, their own integrity, and total acceptance of things they can't control. And to the average person, that kind of binary, that starkness, looks like extremism.
Okay, so we've got all this external pressure. People think you're cold, they think you're opting out. The mirror effect is making them insecure. But then the sources shift to what this does to the person who's actually trying to live this way.
This is the existential trap.
Because if everyone around me keeps saying I'm too extreme, eventually I'm going to start wondering if they're right.
It creates that internal doubt. You start asking yourself, am I too hard on myself? Am I missing out on the human experience because I'm not screaming at traffic?
And the sources point out two ways people usually fail when they hit this wall.
Yes, the two paths of failure. The first one is called the softening.
The softening. What does that look like?
Imagine you're at a dinner party. Everyone's complaining about their jobs. The aspiring Stoic doesn't really feel the need to, but they feel that pressure to fit in. So they start manufacturing complaints, they fake a sigh, they exaggerate their annoyance just to prove they're normal.
Oh, I've definitely done that.
Yeah.
It just feels easier than sitting there quietly while everyone else is venting.
It is easier in the moment, but it's self-censorship. You're betraying your own inner peace just to make other people feel more comfortable. You're lying about your internal state.
Okay, so that's one path. What's the other?
The second path is maybe even more dangerous. The sources call it the armor.
Let me guess. This is where you lean into the label.
You got it. You decide. Fine. You think I'm cold. I'll be the coldest person in the room. You become harder, more distant than you need to be, almost to prove a point. You start using stoicism as a shield to avoid any and all vulnerability.
Oh, I know this person. This is the person who uses logic as a weapon to make everyone else feel stupid for having feelings.
Yes.
You know, oh, you're sad about a breakup, how irrational. You can't control other people, just move on.
That is the ego trap in its purest form. It's using stoicism to feel superior. I control myself, they're weak. That's not discipline, that's just arrogance wearing a toga.
But hang on, if I am controlling myself and they aren't, I mean, aren't I handling the situation better? Is it really arrogance if it's kind of true?
It becomes arrogance when you lose the empathy. The whole point of stoicism is to control yourself, not to judge other people for their lack of control. The moment you use it to look down on someone, you've missed the boat entirely. You're just protecting your ego.
So it's a razor's edge. On one side, you fake emotions to fit in, and on the other, you become a total jerk to protect yourself.
And both are just reactions to social pressure. Neither one is true stoicism.
Why is the system so rigged against this? The sources have a whole section on this, on friction with the structure. It suggests that society almost needs us to be less stoic.
Well, if you connect all these dots, you see that our society, and especially our modern economy, runs a lot more smoothly when everyone reacts predictably.
Predictably how?
Think about the algorithms that run our lives. Social media, news cycles, advertising, they all feed on immediate reaction.
They need the engagement.
They need it. If I poke you with a scary headline, you're supposed to click. If I show you something outrageous, you're supposed to comment. The whole system is designed to harvest your emotional reaction.
It's an extraction economy. They're mining for outrage and dopamine.
Perfectly put. Now, you introduce stoic into that system, someone who sees the headline, feels that initial jolt, but then chooses not to click. Someone who gets an insulting comment, but doesn't type a furious reply.
You're starving the beast.
You are. A person who doesn't react is unpredictable. And in a system built on predicting and selling your behavior, that unpredictability is a threat. You become a glitch in the matrix.
That actually makes me want to do it more. It feels like a quiet little rebellion.
It is, but it's also why it can feel so lonely. You're pushing against a culture where the good life is defined as comfort, release, and, following your bliss.
Treat yourself. You deserve it.
Exactly. And stoicism comes along and says responsibility, duty, restraint.
It's like bringing a spreadsheet to a rave.
It is a massive buzzkill. When a stoic just stands there and doesn't indulge, doesn't have the tantrum, doesn't make the impulse purchase, they are, just by existing, challenging the status quo. They are a living reminder that self-control is actually possible.
And that is really annoying to people who want to believe they have no choice but to give in.
It really is. It's like being the person who orders a salad when everyone else is getting pizza. You're making them feel bad about their choices, even if you don't say a word.
And there's a visibility problem, too. In the age of Instagram, emotions are photogenic. A breakdown, a rant, a big celebration, those get likes. But discipline is usually the act of not doing something. How do you post a picture of a reaction you didn't have?
You can't. Here's a selfie of me not yelling at my boss. It's completely invisible. So to the outside world, your discipline just looks like nothing. It looks like you don't care.
Okay, so we've established that society is probably going to misunderstand us, the algorithms hate us, and trying to prove them wrong can turn us into jerks. So the million-dollar question is, how do you actually live this way? How do you practice this without becoming a social pariah?
The sources offer some really specific practical strategies. And the first one is a mantra I think everyone needs. Restraint is not denial.
Okay, what's the difference there?
Denial is telling yourself, I'm not angry. That's a lie. Restraint is telling yourself, I am angry, but I am not going to let this anger drive the car.
So you acknowledge the passenger, you just don't give them the steering wheel.
Exactly. You validate your own feeling internally so you don't become a robot, but you maintain control. I feel this, but I will do what is right.
That feels sustainable.
Yeah.
What's strategy number 2?
This one is about where you apply your rigidity. The sources call it binary versus flexible. Be rigid. Absolutely binary about your own integrity. Your own promises, you either do it or you don't.
Okay.
But be soft and flexible about other people's emotions and everything else you can't control.
I feel like most people do the exact opposite. They're rigid with everyone else. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And incredibly soft on themselves. Well, I was having a bad day.
That's the classic hypocrite. The stoic is strict with themselves and tolerant of others. If you're strict with everyone else, you're not a stoic, you're just a tyrant.
That's a really tough shift to make. I tried it in traffic last week. Someone cut me off, and my first instinct was to be rigid with them. You broke the rule. And soft on my own road rage Flipping that script takes a lot of effort.
It does. It requires constantly asking, am I trying to control them or am I trying to control me?
And what about that anxiety? The fear of being called cold or distant.
That leads right into the third strategy, which is behavior over image. You have to stop asking, what will they think of me if I don't react? And start asking, does this action increase my self-respect?
So you're shifting the audience from the people in the room to the person in the mirror.
Precisely. The sources give a great workplace example. So many of us perform busyness or stress because everyone else is stressing. We sigh loudly, we rush around. A Stoic doesn't work overtime just to perform stress.
Right.
But, and this part is key, they also don't blame the environment when they miss a deadline. They take full ownership.
It's that inner consistency you were talking about.
And for arguments, bringing it back to the beginning, the goal isn't to win. It's definitely not to use silence as a punishment. It's to speak clearly, slowly, and respectfully. Even if that calm feels cold to the person screaming at you, you are maintaining respect for yourself and, in a way, for them. You're offering them a lifeline out of the chaos.
So if we manage to do all this, navigate the judgment, the ego traps, the awkward silences, what's the prize? Because it sounds like a lot of work for not a lot of applause. The sources call it a promised land.
The promised land of Stoicism isn't popularity, it isn't even happiness, not in the way we usually think of it. It is inner consistency.
Inner consistency.
It's the relief of not having to perform anymore. Just think about how much energy you burn every single day trying to manage how other people perceive your emotions.
Am I reacting enough? Am I reacting too much? Did I use the right emoji?
All of that. The reward of Stoicism is the freedom to just drop that act. You don't have to lie to yourself anymore just to make other people feel comfortable.
But we have to be honest about the trade-off here.
It is a massive trade-off. You will probably lose some connections that were based only on shared drama. If your whole friendship is built on complaining together and you stop complaining, that friendship might not survive.
You won't always be understood.
Never. You will be called cold.
But the trade is, you lose the drama, but you gain the freedom.
You gain authority over your own life. You are no longer just a leaf blowing around in the wind of other people's moods or the algorithm's latest outrage bait.
That sounds like a pretty good trade to me.
Yeah.
But it definitely requires a thick skin.
It takes real courage. This is not a passive philosophy.
Before we wrap, there's a question from the source material I want to leave everyone with, because it really stuck with me. It's something to ask yourself the next time you feel that pressure to react.
It's a powerful diagnostic tool. The question is what I'm doing right now protecting my inner clarity? Or am I just acting this way to make myself more palatable to others?
That's the one. That's the question to chew on. Are you protecting your peace, or are you just performing for an audience?
And remember, the goal isn't to be a statue. It's just to be whole.
Thanks for diving deep with us today. We'll see you next time.
Take care.